Kim. Good evening, everyone. Again, thank you for your patience as we prepare for our May 9th Town Council meeting. Appreciate you all being here, and hopefully we will be swift tonight and be able to get you in and out as we go through the agenda. Good seeing you all. I will ask Mr. Hinkle, if he doesn't mind giving us an indication as we get started.
We'll bow our heads for a minute, please. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Please rise as we state our Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that, your participation. Council, at this time, you have your agendas in front of you. Is there any additions, subtractions, changes to the agenda? Staff?
Yes, sir. Speaking with the town attorney at the end of our Roman numeral 6, we would like to add consult with attorney closed session. That's 143-318.11A3.
Council, if you agree to that particular addition and approve the agenda as presented with the addition, I'll accept the motion.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented with the addition presented by the town manager.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, motion passes. We'll follow along our agenda. The next item on the agenda is consent items, and we've got a few sets of minutes, March 1 in March and April minutes. We've got elevation design consideration. We've got an annexation non-contiguous public hearing for June and another public hearing for annexation requests in June, as well as the considering of the audit contract with Thomas Price, Scott, and Adams. And lastly, authorizing the town manager to sign the sanitation service contract with Waste Pro. These items could be considered approved in one motion unless a council member opts to remove one for discussion. Is there a motion?
I would like to propose a modification to the number 11. Consider authorizing town manager to sign a sanitation service contract with Waste Pro. I believe that is the mayor's position to sign the contract with Waste Pro.
It normally is unless it's a designee, and so I'm okay with if he wants to sign it, so. Any other requested changes?
Do you want to discuss that?
I mean, just in the contract we have here before us.
Is it on there?
Yeah, it's on there, I believe it's presented as mayor.
Designate.
The email that
That's awesome. Thank you. It does say, it's so I'll sign it.
Also just change that item to say authorized mayor.
Correct. I was gonna strike town manager on there and just put mayor for the record. Thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Jaruzelski. Any other item on that consent? Okay. If not, I'll accept the motion to approve the consent with the change of item 11.
I will make that motion with the change that you pointed out, Mr. Mayor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, receive the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
your next item on the agenda, none of those folks have shown up yet. We can skip number 12 if you'd
Okay.
like. The town will take the proclamation and present it to their NCO in charge, if that's all right with you all.
Okay. That'll be fine. All right, we will move on down to item 13. And recognitions and presentations. And we will start with our Citizen of the Year. Our Citizen of the Year is Miss Donna Lambert. And I will first read the nomination, and then I'll read a plaque that I'll present to Ms. Lambert. The nomination says, Donna is president of Helping Ministries of Troutman. Donna's position and the approximate number of 40 volunteers are non-paid. Everyone donates their time. Donna oversees the collections weekly of 1,200 to 2,000 pounds of food. The food is collected, weighed, and separated appropriately. Once the food is logged in, Donna and volunteers then begin the process of getting food ready for delivery or pickup. While the needs vary, so does the quantity of food donated. Partnerships with Second Harvest Food Bank of North Carolina, Food Lion, Troutman location, local churches, and of course, numerous individuals donate the various food. The food serves as an average of 40 to 45 families, totaling 125 people. In addition to the families, to those families, up to 100 people that are homeless. So weekly, up to 225 people get assistance with having some food provided. This is unfortunately a great need. Donna is proving by her actions that helping people in our community without self-promotion is a blessing and a labor of love for our neighbors. I thought that's a great nomination on her behalf. And at this time, I'll read a plaque that we'd like to present to her, which is presented to Donna Lambert, Town of Troutman, Citizen of the Year 2024.
Could you just step down to the floor and just get a picture?
Ms. Lambert, you're welcome to speak if you'd like.
I'm sorry.
I said you're welcome to speak if you'd like.
You probably don't have a group. I just wanted to say, for those in the community that are not aware of Help Ministries, that I have a tribe. Some of them are here tonight. I just kind of really good at telling people what to do and where to go, and they follow directions very well, but our need in the community is growing, as we discussed, and we're looking at alternate locations to try to grow. So we've got a few things in mind. Duck's helped us out over here, and Lowe's is helping us out, and I know that Food Line will too. So just be watching on Troutman Locals for updates of our needs. But our clients are our driving force, and I'm working on organizing a community event, because we have clients and we have a community. And there's probably a huge number of people in this community that don't know about us, and we're getting ready to change that. So just be on the lookout for what's coming, and I'm going to get in touch with Emily, and we'll put her to work. And a lot of you know Josh, the really tall guy in town that's over 7 foot tall. He helps me tremendously, and he's the one who's taking the food out to the homeless. And if you ever want your heart blessed, please call the helpline, get in touch with me, and let me get you with Josh and his team, and go out there to those children. We are really concentrating on the children. And school's getting ready to be out for the season, and there goes breakfast and lunch. So dwell on that a little bit the next few weeks, and reach out if you would like some volunteer opportunities. And we have our lunchbox program, our WOOD program, our Samaritans program, and we're reviving Neighbors Loving Neighbors, where we go and do little small projects for people here in town that need them. For example, a wheelchair ramp, somebody that needs, they just can't afford it, and they need the helping hands, and that's what we are, help ministries. So thank you all. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Our next recognition is our 2024 Organization of the Year, and that is to Lowe's Home Improvement. And I will read their nomination as well. I would like to nominate Troutman Lowe's for Organization of the Year. They do so many things and donate so much to the upkeep and beautification of the town. Just to name a few things, Lowe's has done in 2023 was the fully funded the volleyball courts. Lowe's has supported the ESC Park. They also help with the maintenance of the baseball and softball fields at Troutman Middle School by fixing drainage issues and supplying the equipment and resources to fix the problem. They've donated plants to South Iredell Prom, donated a trailer for the North Carolina Dare program, and donated new appliances for all the schools in the Troutman area. They've donated supplies to the Girl Scouts to build a pet pantry donation box at Town Hall, and they've also donated to countless citizens and organizations throughout Troutman and beyond. It is managed by local citizens, by a local citizen, Jake Rollins, and also he won Store Manager of the Year for 23. There's also an additional nomination also for Lowe's, and again, I'll read that as well. Lowe's has been a consistent community partner to the town for many years, and they've always been seeking ways to support, donate, volunteer, and/or collaborate. A few examples of programs and activities that they've been instrumental on is Troutman Parades, the Pet Pantry, Girl Scout Project, volleyball courts, renovation projects, K9 unit kennels, and doghouse donations, light donations for Walker Heroes, Trails and Treats, vendor and American flag donations for our Richardson Greenway. Lowe's has ensured we have the grass seed and field needs anticipated for sports play. We can't thank them enough for all they do and have done to contribute to our community, our events, nonprofits, and projects that make our town a great place to live and work. I will read their plaque, presented to Lowe's Home Improvement, Town of Troutman Organization of the Year, 2024. I know Jake wasn't able to be here, but I believe there's some employees with Lowe's. You all will come up, I'll present you the plaque.
You can step down to the floor.
What's your name, Mike? What's your last name?
Chapin.
Chapin?
Candidate.
Candidate?
Yeah, well, I just want to say on behalf of Lowe's and Jake, our store manager, who grew up about 5 minutes away from here, we really appreciate this honor. It really aligns with our core values, Lowe's, giving back to the community, being involved. And we really thank the council and the town, continue this partnership. So, thanks very much.
Again, we thank both our Organization of the Year and our Citizen of the Year. Both of you are examples of individuals and organizations that we really appreciate here in the town. And I know a lot of citizens will hear about the good work you all do, and hopefully that too will be replicated. So again, thank you both for what you do for our community. And I have a box up here for your plaques. So before you go, please. All right, thank you.
We don't want them putting them in a box, right?
No, I don't want them to drop them in the parking lot.
Okay, okay.
And scuff them up. That's the only reason I'm giving that box back to you. Not that that has ever happened, but just so happened.
Thanks again.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
Let me lose while he's out there.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
All right, the next item on our agenda is new business. And the first item is item 16.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
number 15, please.
oh, I'm sorry, that's, how could I forget? The next item is our recognition of our employee of the month. And I'll turn it over to Mr. White and Mr. Watson.
Chief Watson is going to make the presentation of this one for us, Mr. Mayor.
Okay?
Good evening. Employee of the month is Officer Jonathan Lyon. He has 3.5 years here with the Troutman Police Department. He started in the patrol division, and he is currently is assigned to the SRO unit, where he is the SRO of Troutman Elementary School. Since he was assigned there, the department is constantly receiving compliments about him. There's not a week that goes by where I don't hear from a parent, administrator, even students, and just the community about the positive things he's doing there. He is always, you go there, he's laughing with the kids, he's interacting with them in a great way. One thing that led me to nominate him for Employee of the Month is Officer Lyons, on his time off, attends sporting events for the students at his school. They occur all over the county. They're not in Troutman, most of them. I've seen him at my own children's games. He's football, baseball, softball, basketball. I found out he was recently at a Girls on the Run event. And those are just the things that I'm aware of, because he makes, he really is dedicated to his students. He has an award called the Lions Pride Award that he created and gives out at the end of the year. He goes above and beyond to engage with the students, making positive interactions, between a law enforcement officer and, somebody that's young, and also the community in general. He's worked really hard to gain trust of students and be a listening ear to where their students have somebody to talk to sometimes about things that, they be confused about or don't want to share with their teacher. He's able to help guide some kids in a positive way. I know that there was previously a student that was very anti-police, and Officer Lyon's interactions completely changed that. And so we're proud to have him recognized as the Employee of the Month through Troutman.
You can also dance. I've seen you dance with the kids.
I've seen him do it while directing traffic.
The chief left that out. He dances in front of the students on a regular basis.
Mr. Lyons, what I would say is, in the day where we really appreciate what you all do every day, and given the nature of what has transpired in our community in the last few weeks, again, want you to know and to share with the rest of your officers and colleagues that you're an example, but we understand you all do a lot for our community, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you again for what you do for our children in our schools, but also what you and the team do every day. So thank you.
Mayor, may I interject one thing, please?
Yes, ma'am.
When you run across hungry children, please notify me and send them our way, because that's really what we want. I know that you are in the loop, so.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is new business. I'll try to follow the agenda appropriately this time. Item 16, request for demolition of an abandoned residential structure located at 153 Ruffin Loop. I will now open this public hearing and turn it over to Mr. Harris, our code enforcement officer.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So yes, I'm presenting this case to the council for demolition. Here are some of the sort of the timeline of how things have happened. I'll read them here quickly. Again, it's an abandoned house that Mr. Gaines, which was our previous code enforcement officer, he started the case, and then it was handed over to me when I took over. Me and Mr. Eric Fox, who is a retired code enforcement officer for Statesville, he's helped me with this case, as I have never done a case quite this complex before, and Statesville has highly recommended him as a good source, because he's done several demolitions for Statesville when he was there. But we've tried to follow, all the steps it takes to, to make sure that we're doing everything correctly. But we did an inspection on the house on January 17th, 2024. We sent a letter to Mr. Aaron Wood, and we scheduled a hearing. He's not responded to any letters, certified or registered mail. He did not show up to the hearing. So we got together, me and Mr. Fox, did the finding of facts evidence, sent that to Mr. Wood, and gave him till March 28th to respond to that, which, again, no response. So that is how we got to the point where we are now, at the request of me to demo this house, because we've had no response from the homeowners whatsoever. Here is just a GIS map of the the house, the house is on Rough and Loop, but the property extends all the way to Tally Street. This is just an overview of the exterior of the house. This is pretty much what it looks like in its current condition as of today. There's holes in the foundation. The foundation's deteriorating. It's damaged. There are exterior windows and doors that are not weather and watertight. All these are things that are in the UDO that are requirements, and these do not meet those requirements. Along the roof line, the wooden beams are rotting and starting to fall off. The landscape and shrubbery is way overgrown. It's sort of starting to take over the house. Here's a picture of the front porch. You can see that on the picture on the left, the windows are busted out, and there's glass all over the place. It's hard to tell from this picture, but the roof over the porch is, it's just wavy, like the ocean from the weather. Here's a first picture of when you're going inside the house. You can see the sheetrock falling onto the floor. Here's some more pictures of inside the house. At some point, there was a very large dog or animal that decided, that he needed to go. And they just left it there. I don't know, it looked to me like the animal was kept up in the house and for who knows how long. And just, again, interior windows and doors not weather and watertight. You can see that. Here's some more damage of the sheetrock. This is a different part of the house where the sheetrock has fallen into the floor. Here's where it really gets bad. This is the ceiling in the living room where you can see where the insulation has fallen in, and it's exposed the joists and the joist and the studs, and it's causing a leak, which you can see that bucket of water sitting there. That's coming from the leak. There's evidence of one time there was a fire in this house because there is charred and burned wood, which could make make it very unstable and unsafe. Again, exposed wires. That is not safe. Here's pictures of the kitchen. No working stove or oven. Ceiling light has fallen down. Here's another part of the kitchen where you can clearly see the outside from the inside. It's a huge hole. Any kind of animal could get in there as large as a cat or a possum or anything like that could just get in. No problem at all. Bathroom, same problem, ceiling falling in. So, having showed you all those pictures, that is the bulk of what is wrong with this house as far as violations go. The estimated repairs to cost to exceed $40,000 and the tax value is only $45,000. So the repair cost exceeds well beyond the 50% that is required to demo this house. So do you guys have any questions for me that I can help you make a decision?
Okay, thank you, Shane. Any questions before we? Questions for Shane? Okay. Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this particular public hearing? I will now declare the public hearing closed. Council, you've heard from Mr. Harris regarding the abandonment of this structure. At this time, we will consider adoption of ordinance 1024. If you would, read the statement around the ordinance and whatever your position is.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make the motion to adopt ordinance 1024 titled, "An Ordinance Requesting the Demolition of an Abandoned Residential Structure Located at 135 Ruffin Lip Loop, Troutman, North Carolina."
Okay. A motion's on the floor to adopt ordinance 1024, requesting the demolition of the abandoned structure on 135 Ruffin Loop. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any other question or comment? Okay. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay. Mr. Harris, you have opportunity to proceed.
I appreciate that. And, you know, like I said, I'll get you guys estimates on, because we need to get a asbestos test. So that's going to be the first step.
Sorry, can you speak up just a little bit?
I'm sorry, Mr. Hinkle. I will have to get an estimate on asbestos testing, because we're pretty sure that there's asbestos on the outside and possibly on the inside. So we would have to get that removed first, and then we could just figure out, you know, how much it would cost to demo the property.
Okay. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a text amendment, TA 2402, to amend Article 6.4.3, campaign signs of the town of Troutman, UDO. I will now declare this public hearing open. Turn it over to Mr. Ventresca.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I hope council's doing well tonight. We do have two text amendments in front of you tonight. Hopefully these are not the most controversial issues that I bring forward to you in the future. But the first one is a text amendment which involves campaign signs. The request is to amend UDO Article 6.4.3 to align with the language of the North Carolina General Statute 136-32. What 136-32 does, it allows campaign signs in NCDOT right-of-ways during an election period, and it limits the size of those signs to 6 square feet, basically a 2x3. Our current UDO allows campaign signs up to 32 square feet on US 21, Wagner Street, Old Mountain Road, and Talley Streets. As you know, those are the gateways into our towns, and those are kind of large signs to have on those particular roadways. And what this request will do, it will also bring it into compliance with the state statute, and then those size limits in the state statute, 6 square feet, will not be allowed to be exceeded. This comes directly from the state statute. It's a paragraph. Basically, the long and short of it, it states the time frame where these signs are allowed to exist. Basically, anything 30 days before the beginning of the one-stop voting, and this could be either a primary or the main election, the signs are allowed 30 days before the one-stop voting starts, and they have to be pulled up within 10 days after the election is over. And that's basically what this paragraph states. So the recommendation is to remove the current Article 6.4.3 campaign signs, which is in your packet, and it's marked out with a strike through, and replace it with what I'm suggesting tonight, the new, hopefully, 6.4.3. And what this is going to say is it's going to limit the maximum sign area to 6 square feet. They must be located to maintain sight distance and sight triangles at intersections, meaning if you're in a vehicle, you'll be able to see and turn and make your turns as need be. They may be allowed to be in the right-of-way except for right-of-way immediately adjacent to town-owned property. They may be installed up to 30 days prior to early voting, and they shall be removed within 10 days after the election. And then the last comment here is they will follow all regulations as outlined in General Statute 136-32 And this gives us leeway in the future. If that statute changes, we can change with it. So, again, Planning Board did recommend unanimous approval of this amendment when we brought it last month. So with that, that concludes my presentation, and I'll open it up for any questions you may have for me.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Ventresca?
Andrew, one question I had when I was studying this, the winner of the early voting, they have to pull them up. Well, in our UDO will be 10 days. Now, obviously, they will be running again in November. So then they'll have to put them back out
That's right.
30 days before. Okay,
That's right.
thank you.
So the maximum sign area is 6 square feet in the state statute.
That's right. Well, it's listed, I think, as 842 square inches, which in layman's terms is 6 square feet.
Right. I don't know how I didn't catch this Monday. That's odd for a state statute. Is it not?
I'm not sure. I think with something, remember, this is state right of way. So I think basically the state is just saying, we don't want anything bigger than your typical real estate sign in their right of way.
Okay. So it's state statute applying to their state-owned right.
That's right, that's right.
Okay.
And since the right of way on our major roads contradicted the sign from both, we just felt it was probably a good idea to get in the same, basically match what the state statute says.
I do have one more question. State right-of-way. And we briefly discussed this at the agenda briefing, but I want to bring it up again because I'm seeing this once again and a little confused, conflicted. State right-of-way is not just in this particular situation. It's not going to be just state-owned property right-of-way. It's going to be state right-of-way, period.
According to the general statute that I've got in front of me, that's the case. The one place where it cannot go are on limited access highways. So basically interstates or freeways. They're not allowed, period.
I'm sorry, one more time on that.
Yep, interstates or freeways, these signs are not allowed, period.
Right. But again, just state highways and roadways, so forth.
That's right.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
If you want a sign bigger than 6 square feet, you're going to have to go out to the county.
Exactly.
My lips are sealed.
Any other question or comments for Andrew? Okay. Would anyone here from the public like to comment on this text amendment? Seeing none, we will close this public hearing. Council, you have heard from Mr. Ventresca regarding the text amendment. We will consider adoption of ordinance 1124. If you would, please read the ordinance and let me know your pleasure.
Mayor, I'll make the motion to adopt text amendment TA 24-02. I'm sorry, excuse me, I'll back up. Consider or make the motion to adopt ordinance 1124, title and ordinance amending the Town of Troutman Unified Development Ordinance.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, receive the second. Any question or comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item is a approval of a consistency statement, and I would ask that you read the full statement regarding approving that ordinance.
I'll read that, sir. I make the motion regarding consistency of this action, that this text amendment is consistent with the 2018 strategic plan and the Unified Development Ordinance and reasonable and in the public interest. It is consistent with the goals of the Troutman strategic plan.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a text amendment, TA 2403, amending Articles 3.4.3, accessory structures, residential, and 3.4.3.1, accessory structures, commercial, of the Town of Troutman, UDO, addressing fencing aesthetics. I will now open this public hearing. Turn it over to Mr. Ventresca.
Okay, thank you again, Mr. Mayor. Again, the request is for Article 3.4.3 and 3.4.3.1 and this does address accessory structures in both residential and commercial districts. We're recommending language to be added to each of these sections on how fences are constructed, specifically what side of the fence is going to face the public. Prior to the UDO rewrite, right around 2018, there was some language that did address this, but we discovered that that language was omitted. So we did have some complaints regarding some fences that were recently constructed in town, and it kind of baffled staff as how that language was omitted, but we're hoping to remedy that tonight. This is kind of a simple one. The recommendation is add M, which is in front of you on your screen, to Article 3.4.3. This is the residential accessory structure. And then the same language is going to be added G to 3.4.3.1, the commercial accessory structures. And how the amendment is going to read is, fences shall be constructed with the finished side facing the adjacent property or the street. And this one was once again unanimously approved by the planning board. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions from the board.
Any question for Mr. Ventrust?
So this was brought to town's attention because of complaints?
That's right. We were kind of surprised. We thought we had the language in the ordinance to remedy the situation, and after a thorough review, it was just never carried over from the previous ordinance.
And the thought that it wasn't intentionally carried over, it just was omitted when they pulled it?
That's the hope of staff.
Okay.
Yes.
That, you're right. I was, part of that process. You're correct. It was a mistake.
Yeah.
Unintentionally left out.
Would anyone from the public like to comment on this text amendment, TA 2403? Okay. Seeing none, I will now close this public hearing. We will consider adoption of ordinance 1224 titled an ordinance amending the Town of Troutman Unified Development Ordinance. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the text amendment case TA 2403 as presented.
And adopt the ordinance
And adopt the ordinance
1224.
1224.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Is there a consistency statement?
Yes.
If you would, please read the full statement.
Make a motion regarding consistency of this action, that this text amendment is consistent with the 2018 Strategic Plan and Unified Development Ordinance and reasonable and in the public interest as it is consistent the goals of the Troutman Strategic Plan.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, received with second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is public comments. The public is invited to address the council with comments or concerns. The public is to adhere to 3 minutes per individual. Speakers must sign in at the podium and adhere to policy 51 governing comments from the public at town meetings. Anyone here from the public like to address the council?
Let's hope I don't fall. I had severe back surgery through my stomach, through my back. Got screws, rods, and everything else in my back. Not doing bad for 83, but hanging in there.
Look good.
It's lovely to see about Lowe's. First of all, I should tell you who I am, Dale Lamb. Moved down here from Ohio to be with my daughter and my son-in-law. My son-in-law is the corporate director of Lowe's. He's over the engineering design building behind the Lowe's building. Graduated of Ohio State. My daughter graduated from Ohio State in medicine. She's here. I have one grandson here. One back in Columbus, just got his master's degree. I'm down here and I have an appointment with Calvin Cook. Everything, I'm gonna be a Troutman. I love Troutman. It's just like back home. We need a Texas road house. That's what we need.
And what's your name again?
Dale Lamb.
Okay, Dale.
Dale Lamb. I've talked to Mr. Harris a couple times. He sent me a nice letter. I left him an elongated message the other day. My reason for being here, I built a new house over off of Massey Street, D.R. Horton. It's hard to call it a house when I've already bought $12,000 worth of material from Lowe's to fix it up on the inside and the outside, but it's my last home. And you know where that is, off of Massey Street. When you go out of Wagner Street and turn right on to Massey Street, you have Georgie, I think it's Georgie the street.
Yes, sir.
It has a loop there. And then you go to the dead end to the city maintenance barn, I call it, like back home, we call it the maintenance barn. Well, just before you get there, there's a new street called York. York Road goes clear back to the old subdivision, back behind it. Well, along there, on Massey Street, I don't know who the vehicles belong to, but there's 3 or 4 trucks, a boat, trailer, 2 or 3 cars. We have 40, 45 families in there so far. They're gonna build 135 houses. We have to drive left to center because of all those vehicles sitting there. I don't know who owns them. I'm assuming there's 2 houses there that have garages which face Massey Street. Their houses face each side of Georgia Street. They could park there if it's their cars. I'm not saying who the cars are. But we have a lot of people that's upset in there. Nobody wants to come and do it. Me, I'm not afraid to come and do it. I'm an old union guy. I was Assistant Secretary Treasurer of the International Union of America, one of the oldest unions in America for glass workers, light bulbs, optic fibers. I've had negotiations with Corning and Wilmington, glass bottle plant in Winston-Salem, and we have a plant up in Raleigh. I'm not afraid to voice my opinion. The folks are upset about having to drive left of center all the time, or if there's a truck coming down, a semi or whatever, we have to stop. If we're up at the top and somebody's coming the other way, they gotta stop or we gotta stop. And a couple weekends ago, one of the big semis went out with a dozer on it. He couldn't make the turn because there was something over here setting. He tore up the curb, tore up the grass, broke the concrete there where the drain is. There has to be something done, and I've talked to Mr. Harris, I've talked to several policemen, everybody treats me nice here, I love it, I can't bitch one bit about Troutman, just like back home. But they said the best thing for me to do, and there's folks in there that don't wanna come here, don't want their voice heard. Well, it's gotta be changed. Mr. Harris told me, the policemen have told me, there's a code, there's signs there, or there's not signs there, but there's signs back to the maintenance building that says there's no parking right there to the office for D.R. Horton. There has to be something done to Massey Street. Until D.R. Horton built that development in there, that'd be all right, whoever wants to park here. But it's changed. We got 40, 45 families in there so far, all tax money, we're all paying, good paying tax people. And another thing that's good for Troutman, I haven't seen any children, which doesn't cost the school. You know, you're getting all the money. You're not putting any money in, there's no children. I'm from Ohio, my neighbor's from California, the next neighbor's from Florida. We got a lot of people in here for the same reason I'm in here, our last stop before we go upstairs.
Thank you, Mr. Lyon.
We need help. We need something done to that road. We're not being mean, hateful, anything like that, but it's new. Go in Massey Street, you turn right on York, you go down the dip, I'm right there on the corner of North Shana and York. The cars go up through there, there's motorcycles, there's more cars. People are coming from the back, the older section, through there now to go to Mooresville. It's a shortcut, and you can't blame them. You know, it's a good deal. But we got all the people in there, most of them but me, I'm single. Most of them have two vehicles. Some of them have 3. You know, they got a truck that sits in the driveway, they got a motorcycle, and not all people are old like me. There's some people 50 years old, 55, but most of them are, I'm 83, you know, most of them old parts. But we need something done. I hate to say, put up no parking signs, but something has to be done so we can use the whole street and the trucks coming in, the cement trucks, you know, that's gonna be a development there for the next year and a half, because I think there's supposed to be 135 houses in there. We appreciate anything you can do for us,
Okay, will do.
relieve the pressure.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a contact.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope it don't fall back.
So, do.
Take your time. Anyone else would like to speak to the council?
Hi, I am Sharon Parks with Republic Services. I'd like to thank the council for letting me speak for a few minutes tonight. I apologize, typically I'm used to public comments at the beginning of a meeting, and was originally told that there was going to be discussion on the solid waste contract tonight. And a few hours before this meeting, I was informed that it was now going to be a consent item, which was number 11. You guys already spoke about it. As you're aware, we took over BSS last year through an acquisition, and if you can imagine, there was tons of moving parts with that. And with that, I feel like there may be some misinformation on our approach to our pricing, both when the acquisition happened and through the current RFP process. I was hoping to ask you to table item 11 tonight, so I could maybe set up some time to engage with council to go over the facts from the acquisition time through the RFP process, so we were given a fair opportunity in the final decision making on the solid waste contract. So any consideration you can give me, I would gratefully appreciate it.
Thank you. And what was your name again?
Sharon Parks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening. I'm Jim Amico, owner of Mad Monkey Garage. It's been brought to my attention, there's just two items I want to speak about. I wrote a letter stating that I would come into compliance, and I attached a letter from a painting contractor stating what that would take to apply paint at certain seasons of the year and temperatures. After April 30th, it just now is becoming consistent above 60 degrees. So there was no opportunity before April 30th to do this. And the letter did state by April 30th, weather permitting. It doesn't just stop at April 30th. So I wanted to bring that to your attention and let you know I'm not ignoring this situation. And I also asked for the fines to be suspended until such time as everything is resolved. I did receive a letter after that stating that the fines will continue until the violation is brought into compliance with town ordinances. So I would like some clarification on that, whether that is happening or have the fines been suspended.
We'll address it in our comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair.
Good to see you, Mayor. How we doing, council? Go ahead, buddy. All right, I'm here today to talk about the Cedar Stump Pub in regards to the outdoor area where there is a stage and kind of sitting area that is now part of the town of Troutman's property, which is the Passport Building. I got a phone call from Mr. Doug Watt saying that I needed to move everything that was interfering on the line, off the line by June. And then I asked Mr. Wyatt, I said, is there any way that I could come to the town council and try and maybe be on the notion for next month to maybe come up with a way where we can work this out. in regards to that, he was very nice. He's like, absolutely, you're more than welcome to go and talk to the town council. So that's why I'm here today. Leading up to this, how this all happened was, we'll go back 4 years to 2020 when COVID hit. We all know everything shut down. March was my last day. Actually, it was St. Patrick's Day. That was my last day open, and government shut me down due to COVID. And I went out building docks. In the meantime, I was keeping up with all the regulations that I had to follow in order to have my business open. Come around October, they allowed patrons to be able to go outside as long as they were in a 5-foot distance and they went inside. So that was kind of where the whole expanding of the back area began to happen. I talked to my landlord, Dr. Patel and Jody, and I was told that the land was theirs. I even talked to Tracy Fox, who owned the building that is now the Passport, and she thought the same thing. So I went ahead and put the work, the effort in, the countless hours a night, away from my family, just building this outdoor area so I could make this bar survive. It's been my dream, and I didn't want to see it crumble, so that's kind of how this whole outdoor thing happened. Moving forward, I have now got an outdoor stage out there. We have live musicians. Musicians were really hurt during COVID as well. It's become kind of a community area where not only have we entertained solo duos, we also had kids that have played out there. One, in fact, is Carolina Detour. It's a group of kids. They're actually bluegrass players. They started there on the Sawmill stage, and just past year they just played at Merle Fest. So I'm pretty proud about that. But, moving forward, what I would like to do is kind of put together a PowerPoint, kind of explaining the steps of how all this happened, some of the misunderstandings, and also to let you know that Jody and Amrish Patel, they wouldn't mind purchasing the little bit of property that I'm infringing on. If I'm okay to hand you guys this, I've got a little printout. I don't know if that's okay or not.
You give it to the clerk.
All right, perfect. I could print 5 of those. There you go. Actually, the part in the yellow and the red is where I'm infringing, but Dr. Patel and Jody wouldn't mind just maybe buying the piece of land that comes off the corner of the TFM property. I know that the main plan is to put Wagner Street kind of through that area. This piece of land is literally, it's kind of down in the bottom. I couldn't see how it could possibly mess any of those plans up. My wife's a realtor. She's got a survey company that I don't mind coming out of pocket to pay for to see exactly how much land is there. But I do know that the little parcel that I'm asking to maybe you guys sell off or figure out what game plan we want to take, it would not mess up any of the future plans that you guys have. I just kind of need to know if this is possible for me to be on the agenda next month. I would be grateful if I could have the opportunity to speak. I also have a email from Miss Jody Patel. She was going to be here tonight, but some family stuff came up, but I've got an email by her. I'll hand you that as well. And on top of that, I just kind of need to know if I need to start putting in some late night hours and knocking this thing down. Or if you guys would consider, hearing me out next month and maybe even figuring out a way where we could purchase this little bit of land.
Okay.
I greatly appreciate it.
All right, great, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Would anyone else like to comment or speak to council? Okay. We'll move on into item number 5. And since Jeremy is still here, I'm going to start with him and go backwards, if you don't mind. Jeremy?
Jeremy.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
That's quite all right. Since you were at the podium, I was going to just start with you. I think we'll get with Mr. Wyatt he had an emergency situation
Yeah, I've
tonight.
never seen him leave a meeting, so I knew it had to be something important,
It's-
and that's
it's-
fine.
Yeah,
Like I said, I just don't want you guys to think
Yeah.
I'm ignoring you, and that I'm not taking this serious. I
Okay.
mean, I am.
all right,
I'm in the process of actually expanding Subway,
okay.
and I'm hoping to bring the same menu that I have in my Catawba location here, so it'd just be really nice to have an outdoor area for people to eat and the whole nine.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll get back to you on the agenda and/or how we can work through it.
Perfect, I really appreciate you guys.
June 1st or 30th that you were told?
He told me, if I'm not mistaken, and I wish he was here, I thought he said June 1st. And, you know, I've got my hands full trying to get all the permits and stuff to expand, and
Okay.
it would put me in a really big bind to do that, and that's why I wanted to come to you guys today and just ask if I could at least just maybe get a PowerPoint presentation just to show you. I mean, I even had, sorry, maybe that's my phone, I need to step on.
That's all right.
I even have a written lease here that I had with Tracy.
That's a no one, yeah.
I have a written lease that we had before the town bought that building. It was almost like it was an agreement that we had. Nothing was ever signed, because she said I had nothing to worry about, and then of course this all, happens, and, I'm just trying to get to the bottom.
All right,
I'll
we will.
work with it.
All right, great, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. We'll go back to, well, I didn't get his name with Matt Monkey. Okay.
Mr. Miko.
Jimmy and Miko? Jim, right. Again, I think that's a conversation we can follow up with him after the meeting. Ms. Parks, on the solid waste contract. Again, the process that we understood on the RFP is what we acted on. What I would say is, I can get with Mr. Wyatt to try to understand that process in terms of what your concerns are, because we hadn't had a chance to have him part of this dialogue. And maybe give you a response back at that point.
Okay.
Without him being here, it's probably a little bit odd, and I apologize for that, but again, he had an emergency situation to go
Sure, thank you.
to. Mr. Lamb?
Yes, sir.
We will take that into consideration. We will follow up with, of course, our code enforcement officer is here, and our chief is here as well, and talk about options for that particular area.
It is a safety issue, and I don't know who owns the vehicles, but if it belongs to those two houses on the edge, their garages face Massey. But there is room on Georgia Street, if it's the issue to resolve it, there is room in front of their houses on Georgia Street to park those cars and trucks, if that's an issue.
But currently, they're on the street?
They're on the street. There's boats, there'll be 2 or 3 pickups, a boat, a trailer, 2 or 3 cars. There's been high as 8 or 9 cars parked there. And the cement trucks, we gotta stop, everybody has to stop, because there isn't enough room. There is, they just barely pass. Now, in our HOA division with D.R. Horton, we're not allowed to park on the street.
Right.
Now, you could have a party or somebody overnight and park, but you're not allowed to park on the street. That's in our HOA.
Yeah. Mr. Harris, have you witnessed?
I do know the vehicles that Mr. Lamb was talking about.
Is that Mr. Harris?
That's Mr.
Hello, Mr. Lamb.
Brother,
We've,
how
we've,
are you?
we've spoke several times. But I am aware of the vehicles that Mr. Lamb is talking about. And at one time, there was like a boat and a trailer and stuff there. And in the ordinances, I have been able to get rid of those because you can't park those on the road. However, the ordinance does not say anything about, parking the vehicles there.
Right.
I mean, they're technically legal to park where they're parking, but like Mr. Lamb said, it is an issue with big, large trucks trying to turn out of Brookside onto Massey. you know, it is a safety issue. But as far as like the ordinance goes, my hands are tied, and there's nothing I can really do about it.
Okay, because there's a vehicle there, but at least what I thought I heard you say, the boat and the other trailer are not anymore.
Right, that's correct. They're gone, because I was able to.
There was a trailer there the other day, and one must remember, from Massey, York goes all the way through to the subdivision in the back, the older subdivision. Now, that's their roadway. That's a direct road now. That's like getting on Wagner Street. They're coming through, shortcut to go to Mooresville.
Yeah.
So they're coming through the development up the dead end of Massey, turning and going on Wagner Street, you know, into Perth. So it's just not like it was 2 years ago. And like, again, like I said, a lot of people in there now have 2 and 3 vehicles. There's only 40 families in there, but there's gonna be 135.
Yeah.
A lot of
Okay.
cars, a lot of traffic on that Massey Street now.
What I'd say is, again, we'll take
Yeah,
it
I
under
understand.
consideration and,
I appreciate it. We all do. I'll pass
see
the
what
word.
else. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to come but the old boy.
No, we appreciate the feedback. I mean, it's helpful.
I've-
Thank you.
I've had 125 negotiations in my life, a couple thousand grievances, and about 15 arbitration cases, so.
Yeah, I'm sure you can come to a council and speak, so, thank you.
You gotta be kind, so I'm
That's right.
kissing up to 4 guys.
Many times what we do is we
kissed
try
up
to
to
get staff to look at the situation and maybe even in discussion with you and bring back suggestions to us, even perhaps craft an ordinance or something we can look at.
I understand.
So this is, you know, kind of what we have in mind possibly.
Yep, I understand. You're not gonna lose me. I'm not gonna move from Troutman.
Yeah.
Hope not.
I'm all lined up with Calvin Cook.
I think we all are lined up at some point
I
with
love
Calvin
this
Cook,
place.
but I'll
It's
be
not,
back.
it's like back home in Carroll. I grew up south of Columbus, Carroll, Lancaster, Ohio.
All right.
It's just like back home.
I'll start with council. Mr. Hinkle?
At this point in time, the only thing I will say, since possibly Mr. Shaw is looking at some deadlines or something, is that I would hope that with discussions with our town manager, possibly something to be worked out. I always like to see things, if possible, to be able to work out with our business people as well as our day-to-day citizens, if I most may describe them as such. And so I'm hopefully, Jeremy, something can be worked out. Certainly try to do so that we can listen to you in full and perhaps even a presentation in June, if that is possible, sir.
I'd be grateful for it.
That's whoever next.
As far as the public comments go, I appreciate you sharing your concerns and coming and expressing them to us so that we have an idea of what's going on in the community. I look forward to seeing an agenda item for Mr. Shaw's presentation so that we can know what's going on, and also to help with the businesses that are here and those that invest in this community. I share the concerns of the safety and the parking on the side of the road with Mr. Lamb. As many different areas in this town have the same concerns and issues. And, you know, just also would like to recognize our Troutman Police Department for their performance or assisting with the Peace Officers Memorial that was held this past week at Beulah Baptist. It was a great performance. It was nice to see our local police department representing for such a statewide gathering for the sheriffs and fallen officers across the state over the last 2 years. They did a great job and looked good representing the town and the police department.
Thank you, sir.
That's all.
Mr. Hoxha?
Thank you, Mayor. Anytime we have multiple people come and speak during public comments is a good meeting. So thank you. Thank you for coming. Too many times this room is empty. And thank you for bringing things to our attention that probably wouldn't have come otherwise. So, yeah, Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Maybe you can scare up some more support from your neighborhood. maybe we can fill this room. But thank you. Welcome to the community, and thank you for coming and letting us know about this problem. But yeah, other than that, looks like I'm about 85% confirmed that I won't be here next month. So just wanted to actually put that one on the record. So just wanted to let you know. But yeah, again, thank you everybody that turned out. Citizen of the Year, Organization of the Year. It's one of my favorite meetings. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Just a couple of comments. Again, I'd like to reiterate congratulations to our Citizen of the Year and Organization of the Year. They are truly examples of what it means to be part of Troutman, and we appreciate them especially. The last couple of weeks, our law enforcement in our community, and I would include Charlotte in that, and Mooresville and Statesville, and Gastonia, and just really, within our proximity, have faced some difficult situations, and I would hope that we would keep them in our thoughts and prayers. And again, I appreciate Mr. Lyon and his work that he's done in the school system. I may have to talk to him about his award that you mentioned to me, Chief. I'm familiar with the Lions Pride Award in a different way. We'll talk about that. Again, I appreciate the feedback you all have provided for us tonight, and we look forward to responding to those requests. It doesn't always mean that it may not be what you want, but we're going to try to do our best to get you a response. Again, we appreciate it. It's definitely not going on deaf ears. These council members have difficult decisions to make sometimes, and appreciate their service, as they continue to look at how to make our town continue to be the best place that I believe in this state. So thank you for that. With that, usually we turn it over to our staff, and I would ask if any of the staff have any comments, and you can start.
I guess I'll touch on a couple things from the planning world. First, I would like to just recognize our former planning director, Lynn Hare, who I think served this town very well for almost 3 years, and she actually became more than just a boss to me. She became a friend, probably a lifelong friend in that. So I appreciate everything she did for this town, and I hope wish her well, kind of, in her new life. So congratulations to Lynn. Second, as we probably know, we've seen the walls starting to go up on the Tractor Supply and the Food Line stores down closer to exit 42. So I hope the influx of rooftops that we've gotten in the last couple of years will continue to bring these service and retail industries to help serve the town of Troutman and its citizens. Mayor Young alluded to this on Monday night. CRTPO has started a monthly community spotlight program where they select one municipality in their 27 municipality region to give a presentation on something positive about that jurisdiction. And so they had selected Troutman to share its mobility plan that was adopted last year. And I consulted with town planning staff, and I drew the short straw that I will have to give that presentation. So I'm proud to do that, actually, and I hope to do the town well next Wednesday night. And the last thing I'll add is, in talking about the June council meeting, it looks like if things go as they should, we should have 3 rezoning cases and 1 additional text amendment in front of the board. So we may have to bring some tents. So I'm just putting that out there early.
We can push them on back to July. I'm okay with that.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? Great, thank you. If nothing else for the good of the order, I will ask that we now go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 11A3, to consult with our attorney.
May I request a 5-minute break before we enter closed session?
Absolutely. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
Aye, so move, sir.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? You have your 5 minutes. Thank you all. We appreciate it. Have a great evening.
Thank you for those.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Whenever you want.